Hey there, this is Daniel from WP103, and today we're gonna look at the plugin Hook Anywhere. Let's jump into it. This plugin is very useful if you wanna do automations via webhooks. So when a certain hook in WordPress is fired, like for example save post or like add user or whatever, then you can run a webhook after that you then use in N8N or another automation software to do certain actions. That's the whole idea of the plugin. And after installation, we are greeted with this welcome screen here, where you see your active webhooks, how many were successful, how many failed, and you can also subscribe to the newsletter. Under all webhooks, we have all the webhooks. There is currently nothing. Then under logs, we have the logs, and you can see the execution that happened. And under settings, we have some log related settings. And in the access control, you can choose which users or which roles should be able to manage and access the hook anywhere. Okay, we're going to start by creating our first webhook. Just click on add new hook and we give it a fancy title. In this example, we're going to use the save post hook. So every time a post gets saved, or a page or setting or whatever, this webhook gets executed, and then we can do something with that in N8N or another automation software. So we call it save post. Something that's really cool about this plugin, you can not only use the WordPress core action hooks, you can also use from other plugins, like for example Query Monitor that is installed here as well. But for this example, we're going to use the core, and we want to have the event save post. There we go. After that, we have to change the HTTP method if we're not using post. So let's change it to get, because we're going to use get. And if I'm changing to the N8N, this is the place where the automation will happen. We have our test URL. So let's copy that, and we can see the method is also get. If this is post, you can then also put it to post or whatever you need. Close that again, go back to our webhook and enter this URL. You can also define a timeout, that's really handy. Authentication, we skip that for now, but then you could, for example, send a query parameter. That's our secret. And our secret is only I know. In the headers and parameters, you can give additional header and data parameters if you want. We skip that for now, we don't need that. Also, you can add a tag. That's our test. And then we publish the webhook. So another thing we need to do is we need to go back to N8N and make sure that we are listening for a test event. Let's do that. And then I prepared already a post here, my fancy post. And if I change that and save it and switch back to N8N, we can see we got an output here now. And I made here another node just to display the data a little bit nicer. And if we scroll down here, we can see we got the body, the webhook URL, we have the test mode, and the hook that has been used was the save post. We got the data, and you got all the data that this hook supports. If we check the documentation for save post, we can see we have the post ID, then the post itself with as a WB post object, and if it was updated or not. So all the data that gets delivered to the action hook gets then sent to our automation tool. Our secret is also sent, so then we can in our workflow then check for that secret, and if the secret is existing and correct, then we continue, otherwise we don't. Let's go back now to the logs and see what happened here, and we can see we have one successful execution with code 200, and 1 unsuccessful. That is probably autosave. That also happens, and it has a 404 because the test event gets only fired once in this case. But it works. And that's pretty much it for this plugin. Here are a few things I really liked about this plugin. I think the design is really nice. It integrates well with WordPress, and the support is great. I discovered a bug like a few days ago. I reported it and immediately there was a new update. So that's just great. The code quality is very good, looks very nice, and is well commented. There is no pro version, and so therefore you don't need a pro version. Everything comes with the free version. That's really great. A thing I didn't like about the plugin was that the event is just like the name of the hook itself. And for a non-developer, it's really difficult to figure out what these hooks are doing or when these hooks are getting fired in the first place. So it would be nice to have more like explanation, maybe either in a human readable form or also as maybe under here when you select a certain event that it tells you, hey, this gets fired, for example, when the post gets saved. And just to give more context and more detail, that would be nice. The performance impact is very low. You don't really feel it that it's running, and also the impact on the front end is basically non-existing. The plugin itself doesn't require other plugins or have other dependencies than WordPress itself. And the plugin is available in English only so far. That's it for that video. Thanks a lot for watching, and leave me a comment if you're using this plugin or if you have suggestions for other plugins I should test. See you in the next one.